In the previous lesson, we looked at the basic economic problem that relates the relatively scarce resources around us and our unlimited wants for them. This means that there is a problem in how we may reconcile the two sides of this basic equation. We need to know that there are two solutions offered in economics. The first is the command economy approach, in which somebody tells us what to do, what to produce, what to distribute, what to consume. And the second is the market economy approach, in which we freely engage in production, distribution and consumption, or in trading with people. Look around and we see the things that we wish to have, to own, to consume, to get for a business or for our home or for a gift or whatever. But we cannot just go out and grab them, as we define that as theft. Oh, we can say that is a solution, just go and grab what you want. But if everybody does it, this would create what we generally call anarchy, which tends to lead to a bloody internecine war of all against all and the rule of gangs and brutality. But if we prefer an ordered system of resolving the basic economic problem of scarce resources and unlimited wants, then we have the choice between the command economy and the market economy. Now, considering history is useful here. We can imagine that the resources of the small group, or what we can call a tribe, were distributed by the hunters or by the elders or by a king or queen based on their understanding of who needed what, how much, when, and even for how long in the case of things like land. This is called the command economy approach. Someone is giving commands to resolve the basic economic problem. With economic growth, more people became engaged in different areas of production than just hunting and gathering and fishing. They could be involved in producing clothing, for example, or in spear making, or tools for fishing, or making furniture, or other useful items such as needles, axes and hammers and so on. Such expansion of diversity increases the distribution claims on the tribe and places a growing sense of power on those who are distributing them. Historically, we're also acutely aware of the distribution of land to various supporters of the ruling elite and their families, notably when the people started settling down to cultivate the land and corral the horses and cattle. But as the basic economy became more complex, we can imagine the emergence of what we call property rights, which enable the tribe to understand who is in control of what, and the authorities give these property rights out to people to be custodians to produce their own food as well, and resources for the tribe, of course. But in the command economy, such property rights were still defined by the rulers, and they could be given and taken away as the king or the elders saw fit. And that often included the lives of many people, especially those caught in battle who became slaves. But gradually, as the basic economy became more complex, with more and more people doing different things and producing different objects and demanding different things, one can imagine the emergence of the market economy as an alternative to relying on the king and his retinue to tell everybody what to do. And early economists started to note that relying on the authorities to solve economic problems unintentionally created more chaos and anarchy as economies became more developed. But we'll leave that story to the unfolding logic of economic principles in the course. Now, the alternative to the command economy is the market economy, in which economic agents, as the textbooks like to call people, decide by themselves what they wish to produce and in what quantities, qualities, etc., and how much to sell at what negotiated prices in the marketplace. It follows that those who wish to get their hands on desired produce or services have to offer their valued services or commodities in exchange, and they may do this with barter, as we've just noted, for instance, or with the intermediary called money, which we will return to in a later tutorial. And from such exchanges, market prices emerge based on the agreements between traders. The essential principle of a market economy is that it is the people have property rights, firstly over themselves, and we call them natural rights or human rights, and over the produce that they make or purchase from others voluntarily in the marketplace. Buying and selling resources is thus freely enacted by both parties. While the command economy rests on the presumption of the use of force to ensure a distribution of resources, the market economy rests on the presumption of peaceful interactions voluntarily engaged in by individuals. Now, for those who are interested in politics and in history, we can well entertain the fact that much of the resources of the lands were originally distributed by force, such as by military conquest, and then at the behest of the kings and emperors. But since the dwindling of such political power over our lives, more and more resources and their production, distribution and consumption have come into the hands of individuals who freely transact in the marketplace to improve their lives as they see fit. The power of the kings has become dwarfed by the flow of wealth through millions of markets. No longer do the kings and presidents act as the arbiter of who gets what, except in certain markets of all countries. The production, distribution and consumption of resources is governed by the people trading daily in millions of markets. In effect, in the market economy, we're all traders exchanging the value of our services for the value of someone else's services. Now, to wrap up, there are two approaches taken up by societies to orderly solve the economic problem: the command economy approach and the market economy approach. Spoiler alert. We study the nature of both and their logic and how they function, their advantages and disadvantages, and what the effects are when they are mixed. And by the way, we live in a mixed economy these days, in the sense that some markets are controlled by authorities or completely governed by the state, and other markets are less affected by state control, except in terms of the basic laws of the land. Both are approaches to deal with the basic economic problem of scarce resources and unlimited wants, and the production, distribution and consumption of those resources. And it is to resources that we will be turning next. Thank you for watching and listening. See you in the next video.